In the book of Esther, speaking of the culture and speaking where we are today and how our responsibility never ends to be salt and light. Well, in the book of Esther, God raised up a young woman in a time of crisis to save his chosen people. Well, coming up on October the 12th, it will be the Jewish Day of Atonement. And evangelist Lou Engle has called for an army of women to fast and pray on the nation's mall right here in Washington, D.C., for the fate of our nation in this current time of crisis. Of course, those of us who know the story of Esther know there is a role for men as well, such as Esther's uncle, Mordecai, who understood the importance of obedience. Joining me now to discuss this is Lou Engle, president of Lou Engle Ministries. Lou, welcome to Washington Watch.
Great to see you again, Tony. We had some journeys together back then, and we're still at it, aren't we?
Well, brother, you are, and I appreciate what you're doing and praying. In fact, we're going to be praying at our Pray Vote Stand Summit this weekend. We feel like maybe we're just the forerunner to what you're going to be doing next weekend, October the 12th. Tell our audience about it.
Yes, it all started, Tony, with a dream, which usually that's the way it works with me. But when President Trump was elected in 2017, witches rose up worldwide to curse him every crescent moon. Because of that, I went to the mountains to fast and pray to see if God wanted me to mobilize prayer concerning this. And on the third night of the fast at Estes Park, some call it Esther's Park, I had the most epic dream of my life. And in this dream, as far as I could see, women were coming from everywhere, and they were coming to hear the book of Esther be taught. It was a buzz. I'm looking at this women's revival, and they're coming to hear the book of Esther be taught. And in this dream, I'm the only man there with an ancient Bible, which I now understand, and I believe I do, that it was a calling of a Mordecai to literally mobilize what I'm looking at. And so in this dream, a woman stands up, she's teaching the book of Esther, and she says, and these two words in the book of Esther actually mean Nazgul, Nazgul. I exploded out of the dream instantly knowing what it meant, because I watched the third part of The Lord of the Rings, where the Nazgul witch king was destroying the armies of men and said, no man can kill me, but the king's daughter takes off her helmet and lets her hair down and says, I am no man. And she pierces the Nazgul witch king. I woke up and I knew there was coming a massive women's movement, an Esther movement, that would stand against the witchcraft that was fueling the ideologies of America and influencing elections. And I believe, looking back to 2017, we could be in that very moment right now, a massive Esther movement. Who would have guessed that when we were mobilizing for this, Tony, who would have guessed that October 7th would take place and a major world Haman anti-Semitism would rise up? I think we're striking a divine moment for a solemn assembly. So who knows, maybe God can turn this thing.
Amen. So you're calling women to come to our nation's capital. Can men participate in this as well?
Yes, we're saying every man a Mordecai, every woman in Esther. It's never been just women, just men. We're trying to bring these together, but the story of Esther is Mordecai is deeply entrenched in the storyline, taking a stand against false ideologies, and that's where we're standing there. So men and women, it's a 10-hour gathering from 9 to 7. It's a sacrifice. It's the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. It's the only day the Jews were called to fast. It is a fast. Derek Prince talks about in the days of crisis, God releases solemn assemblies that can turn. Joel chapter 2, he says, Esther, her fast shifted history. We're believing even this day could actually shift things, even elections, and bring forth a new day of revival. That's what we're believing for, Tony.
Well, Lou, it's happened before, and we serve the God who is the same yesterday, today, and forever, so it can happen again. I just got about 45 seconds left. How can folks learn more about this event?
Go to amillionwomen.org. amillionwomen.org. I'm so glad you're putting this on, because literally people thousands of people watch you. You can drive in from North Carolina, New York. You can drive several hours and be here for that day. I believe it's a significant moment in the history of America, maybe a last stand.
And folks, you can also text Esther to 21,000, Esther to 21,000, 21000. Text Esther to get more information. Lou Engle, my brother, always great to see you, and thank you so much for continuing to pursue God and all that you do.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be with you, Tom.